It's really small. In fact, Kindle doesn't even make them this small anymore. But there's a company that's standing out in the world of ebooks and Android e-ink tablets worldwide, and that has dared to make something truly mini, being much more powerful and versatile than any Kindle, and most importantly, costing half as much. And of course, this had to be on my channel. Do you like these devices that don't strain your eyes but don't want to break the bank? Check out this Bigme B6 because besides not breaking the bank, it almost fits in your pocket. It looks small and its build is honestly basic, which explains its price. But what it has inside is unexpectedly good, as you'll see. And despite its affordable price, it has the most advanced monochrome electronic ink panel in the world right now. That is Carta 1300 technology with 300 pixels per inch, which makes it the cheapest Android e-ink mini tablet in the world to use such advanced technology. And now, here it is in all its glory, the Bigme B6 monochrome. You've already seen the unboxing. By the way, the case comes standard, along with the pin and the cable, but you can choose the color of the case. In fact, there are several colors, and you can choose it completely free of charge, which is appreciated. You don't have to buy it separately. But as you can see, the design of this mini tablet is all made of plastic. This is probably its biggest downside. I guess they had to cut corners somewhere, so it wouldn't be so expensive. It weighs less than 200 grams, and honestly, it feels pretty comfortable to use in your hand. Maybe the only thing is that the edges are completely flat, with a thickness of less than 7 millimeters, so the corners are obviously going to feel sharper than if it had more rounded edges. But let's talk about the ports. USB Type-C with OTG capability, an RGB LED, a microphone, and if it has a card slot, you can put in a micro SD of up to 2 terabytes, which is definitely appreciated. On the other side, there's nothing. And on top, there's a striking red lock-unlock button that feels great. And on the other end of the top side, there's the speaker, you'll hear it later, and on the other side, there's absolutely nothing. For the price, a speaker, a microphone, an expandable memory, it's not bad at all. And now, let's dive right into this mini tablet with Android, the Bigme P6. With everything it has and the price it's being sold at, it's no wonder it's getting so many positive reviews internationally. Let's see why. I have to say I've been using it for a few weeks, and what I like the most, without a doubt, is its portability. It's very easy to carry, plus the case is magnetic. Despite the price, it doesn't have any mechanical gears, which I like. It's very easy to put on and take off, and the magnetism is strong enough so it doesn't come off easily. Alright, you already know how e-ink screens work. On this channel, I've tested pretty much every brand, and you don't need to turn on the LED lights for it to look good, but check this out. I'm going to grab the Kindle Scribe Color Soft. You can find the review on the channel. It costs about 3 or 4 times more than this Bigme tablet, just so you know. And look, I'm going to turn off the lights on both of them, and you tell me which one looks better. This is the problem with Kaleido 3 panels with color e-ink. They look a bit dimmer, more shadowed when you turn them off, sometimes with a yellowish or other times a pinkish tint. This doesn't happen with monochrome or black and white technology. Also, black and white technology has a longer battery life. But it's not just with the most expensive Amazon Kindle in the world, which just came out on the market. It also happens with the Remarkable Paper Pro. I also reviewed it here on this channel. It uses a different technology. In fact, it's one of the few tablets in the world that uses this color electronic ink technology. And there's also a slight difference, a slight dimming compared to monochrome ones. Especially if you're going to use these ebooks or these small Android e-ink tablets outdoors. I would especially recommend the monochrome or black and white technology because I think it works better. You don't need to turn on LED lights, and they look better in environments with plenty of visibility, for example at the beach. And here you have it compared to a regular smartphone. Notice that it's wider, but not more accessible. But above all, the reflections. Look at how it handles them. This iPhone with an OLED screen gets completely covered by them, whereas color e-ink screens do an impressive job with reflections. Notice how there's a kind of micro-porous texture. It's not as noticeable as on the Remarkable Paper Pro, but at least it makes the reflections less visible than on conventional OLED screens. It would offer several refresh modes. For instance, if you're reading a comic or PDF and don't need high speed, use comic or refresh mode. Interview mode will look better, with deeper blacks and more contrast. However, if you're going to use social media or dynamic content, I recommend setting it to video or custom mode and activating anti-flicker and automatic cleaning. This happens with all Bigme, all Bucks, etc. And it's true that it doesn't have a dark mode, but with this color immersion trick, honestly, it looks pretty good, especially with this Carta 1300 panel technology. The contrast is much better, it's also faster, and the blacks look amazing. So, yeah, what would it look like when watching a video? Well, you're seeing it right now. I want to remind you that it was about 30 frames per second, which isn't bad at all, especially considering its price, since Bigme has more powerful and obviously more expensive tablets with higher frame rates. Even so, for the price, it's not bad at all, as you can see. 6-inch screen. I like to show this chart every time I upload a video to my channel about an e-ink device, so you understand that this technology has nothing to do with a conventional screen. You're probably watching me right now. Its operation is completely different, and that's why it's so recommended when it comes to reading for longer periods of time, because it doesn't strain your eyes. Now let's see what the LED lights are like. Look, compared to the Kindle Scribe Color Soft, the white light is much whiter on the small Bigme tablet, and the warm light, as you can see, is, to my surprise, much warmer on the Bigme. Normally, color e-ink screens are warmer, but here, honestly, Bigme does a really good job. Checklist. Identify main idea and purpose, retain key comparison, keep speaker's perspective, preserve proper nouns, remove redundancy. The key is how well each device dims, especially for night reading near someone sleeping. In this area, the Kindle dims slightly better. Look here, the sun is shining directly on it. The brightness levels are completely off. And as I was saying, the contrast of this technology is truly wonderful. Look at this strip where there are configurable touch buttons, including artificial intelligence. By the way, it doesn't have 1 gig or half a gig of RAM, like Kindles usually do, but it has 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigabytes of internal storage, as I mentioned, expandable up to 1 terabyte with a micro SD. And watch out, because it has a MediaTek CPU, which at this point is an octa-core, and it comes with stock Android 14. You have the full Play Store available to download any app on this small monochrome tablet, and at a really groundbreaking price. But besides reading, which is obviously what this tablet will be most useful for, you can download any app, for example Instagram, to use it daily. Honestly, it's interesting to see Instagram in black and white, and look at how this app runs on the Bigme P6. It's not bad. Obviously, it's not the fastest in the world, but even though it's not designed for it, you can see that it handles these kinds of apps very well. And if you set it to video mode or extreme custom mode, the dynamic videos on this network, on Instagram or any other, are going to look pretty good. I've noticed that using a lot of dynamic content on these e-ink tablets drains the battery faster and reduces their lifespan. Hey, and is this small e-ink tablet capable of handling games? Well, I wouldn't recommend it for games, especially if they're fast-paced. But here I'm going to show you an example, and honestly, it's quite surprising how this type of technology is advancing. Also, I'll take the opportunity for you to hear the power of its speaker. And as for the battery, this Bigme P6 has 2,100 mAh. I guess that's why it's so small and so light. This battery can last over a week if you mainly use it for reading and limit Wi-Fi use. Also, avoid watching too many dynamic videos. Of course, if you're going to use it on social media at full speed, it can last you about 4 days. Depending on usage, maybe a little more. Luckily, the monochrome technology lasts, as I mentioned, longer than color. And especially if you don't use the LED light too much. This will also help save quite a bit of battery. But as I was saying, if you buy this kind of device, it's mainly for reading. And how does it perform in this area? Well, the good thing about having Android is that you can download any app, including Kindle. That means you can have all your Kindle books here and they'll look perfectly fine. but it also has a native app that has been improved quite a bit. It's extremely customizable. And something I like besides the fact that it's super fast and everything feels really good is that it has its own dark mode. However, I've noticed that when you turn it on, the dark mode in the Bigme reading app shows this white strip right below. That is, it doesn't end up looking completely black. My little trick for everyone who has made it this far in the video is, as you're already seeing, to enable color inversion. Then yes, that white strip would turn completely black and now it's a truly dark reading mode. I insist, for example, for traveling, for taking the train, for flying, for studying, for reading, or if you like reading comics or manga on slightly smaller devices because you need to put it, for example, in a bag or inside a purse. This Bigme V6 for the price it has does really well, especially considering that it includes so many accessories and so many features at a really good price. And now, let's get to what I think is the most important point about this Bigme V6, and that's its price. How much does it cost? Well, as you can see, it's less than 170 euros, which, considering its large memory, also the RAM, also the CPU, it includes a speaker, it includes a microphone, it includes an LED, it includes a touch strip with keys, even expandable memory up to 1 TB. All of this with a full Play Store, and above all, the large screen with Carta 1300 technology featuring improved blacks. For me, it's really an option to consider. If you like this kind of technology, these devices, and you don't want to break the bank, keep an eye on this Bigme V6. And now I hope you enjoyed this video. Share it, leave me a like, and subscribe if you haven't already, so you can keep combining the best e-ink technology, whether in color or black and white, and mixing it with these amazing landscapes. I also think that this summer colorfulness looks really good on this magnificent monochrome screen. And now, I'll leave the purchase link below in the video description. If you have questions, leave them in the comments and I'll see you in the next video. Best regards and see you soon.